Hey everyone, Sunday, time for the weekend update. Going over coins that I'm interested in. Again, as always, anything that I give will be only in the Discords. And I'm sorry if I have background noise. I don't really care about my content enough to, uh, edit stuff. I really don't. Everything is raw from scratch. So let's jump into it. May have some dogs barking in the background later. Let's talk about Bitcoin first. All right. Um, what happens once we break all-time high, and what do we do from here? All right. So, first off, I don't understand why people are shorting. There's no reason to short. The trend is, up. It's been up. Here is your trend line on the daily. We never lost it. When we did lose it, we reclaimed it. So it was never turned into resistance. So I don't understand the need for shorts and people asking for shorts when price is going up. We're about, what is this? Almost 1.5% away from all-time high. So going into Christmas, are we going to get that Santa rally in the altcoins? What do we expect from here? Well, the strength and the market is currently looking at Bitcoin. All right, this will be and always will be a Bitcoin market. Altcoins will come and go, but this market will always be, Bitcoin centralized or focused on Bitcoin. So, talking about alt season and talking about the different phases of the past where it was Bitcoin, then Ethereum, then large caps, and so on. I don't think that's applicable anymore. It's 100% not, in my opinion. So this is a Bitcoin market. You have to take a look at Bitcoin, and then once we have a consolidation phase on Bitcoin is when you start focusing on alts. Is that coming? I think we will be chopping from now up until January, and then we start rolling in alts once the Bitcoin consolidation has completely absolved. But right now, it's the weekend. We have low volume across the market, so things tend not to move. I personally don't trade on the weekends for this reason. I'm not missing anything. I'm exposed in the markets with spot positions. I don't care about leverage positions during the weekend, so I go ahead and touch grass. But looking at this, let's start with a clean chart here. Looking at this, first of all, we have to acknowledge this trend line, all right? We have, again, not lost this trend line. We are in an uptrend, making, even on a low impulse here, making higher highs, right, and higher lows. So until that is completely broken or until this trend line is over, and I mentioned in the Discord that our level to hold was 99.4 to 5K for us to grind higher. Why that level? It was previously, your local high, right? We had a deviation, and I made a video here saying that consolidation on support is usually bearish. We got the move down, and then we had the move up, and see how we don't have consolidation on support here? We just had a move up with a retest, confirmed the flip, and then continued to grind higher. Okay, let's go back to the other chart really quickly, just because it's cleaner. So I think that we are going to, in my opinion, range between, I think, like 107, 108 max, but it could be below that till, like this 90K, 95K region. All right. I think we chop here for a little bit before we have either a distributive move down to the lower side or continued expansion to the upside. All right. But again, we must talk about our ranges here. All right. So we have our range low set here at the 85K, and then we have, our highs were this range high here, which we've now flipped to support. But here is our local high, right? These two important levels are a must in your charts if you want to understand the trajectory of Bitcoin and what happens from here. So one of two things can happen. One, we continue this grind up. We go up, take the liquidity. Everyone gets euphoric. We broke all-time highs. For us to just come back down here and then just continue this range. All right. Now, if we do break all-time highs and come back here. Again, I'm not in the mood to take shorts. I'd rather long pullbacks. I'd rather, miss a short for this and get a long, let's say at here, for upside. I don't care for shorts in a bull market. It doesn't make sense to me. You're just playing with fire, especially if something is price discovery. So either we go up and take the highs and we close back below. And for shorters, that's when you can short once we have a confirmed swing failure. Take out the highs, close back below, stops above whatever wick is created. And then you have your established supports at these levels. Okay. And you have more support down here as well. All right. Or let's say we just continue to grind and chop a little bit. Let's say we come back down to this trend line somehow. If we lose this trend line and turn it into resistance, I would say that the local top is most likely here, and then we just start in this little range bound here. This little range is where we're going to trickle down to. But you can't rule the uncertainty or the possibility of us going back down to these levels here. All right, it's happened before. Last 3 cycles, maybe not on this chart. Okay, but look at these. Oh, but we're in a bull market. We're going up. You can't call top. Well, I'm not calling a top, but look at these. We've had multiple instances of 20% drops during last bull run. Okay, now this is on a 3-day chart, but I mean, you can clearly see. Okay, 12%, you had a 27% drop here, 22, 17, so on and so forth. Even on the second leg up, you had another 20% drop. You had this down, and then the final drop there. Okay, so when we're talking about, price going to these levels and dropping 20%, it is not unheard of. So you have to remove your emotions of being, a bull maxi or being a bear and play the charts. I play the charts. We can dump here 20% and still be okay. Now, if we fall here, let me get another chart out here, or not another chart, but another trend line here. Okay. Now this could take some time. Nothing ever happens immediately, but let's say over the next 2 to 3 months we just chop here, right? And excuse me for that barking, but let's say we come back down and we close below this range low level. Let's say like it takes 3 or 4 months and we close back below this range low level. All right, and we turn it into resistance. That is when I am saying that the top of this cycle is in. We can definitely go higher to 120, but as long as we come back below and lose the trend line and turn this range low into resistance, whatever the price is, whether it's here or 120, and lose this, right, that is the top of the cycle in my opinion, and that is when I will be exiting the markets in its entirety and giving my farewell message to all of you. But right now, we focus on just this trend line here, all right? And just this trend line says we're going to keep playing it until broken. So if we come back down, that is going to be another support touch. Okay, you have trend line confluence, so that is where you're going to long. Now, I would love to get a move down to this order block here. All right, we have not filled it. We have not even filled it. It was resistance, right? We broke out, flipped it to support, came back down, lost it, broke out, never had the retest. It would also be a trendline confluence if we can get a wick into it and then continue to push higher from there. Now on a lower time frame, we do have a possibility of a rising wedge forming. Okay, it's not a clean one, but it is a rising wedge. And the target for this rising wedge, if we were to break down from here, okay, would again be the trend line. So Any wick into here is why I'm placing my bids there. Maybe front run it a little bit and play it around 98K. I think it's the safest bet. But um, technical targets of this breakdown, if we were to break down from here, would be around the support area and trendline confluence. So you're gonna keep playing the trend until it's completely broken. The trend is your friend, but this is a time where Bitcoin dominance is also increasing. Right? Let's talk about this really quickly. Bitcoin dominance broke the trend. Alts rallied a little bit. We had a bearish retest. But if we are able to reclaim this trend line and Bitcoin price continues to go up, alts are going to suffer. If Bitcoin price decreases while Bitcoin dominance is increasing, alts will continue to suffer even more. Now, why is this a thing and could be happening? You have a few reasons, right? People taking profits, moving away. Like if people are going to take profits, they're going to take profits from alts because those are faster gains. Where Bitcoin's more of a long-term hold, so they'll be taking profits from their altcoins. Dominance goes up. You have holidays coming. Retail got liquidated on that huge flash crash down, so they're still sidelined. They haven't really fully come in yet, or if they were in yet, they're completely wrecked because they have no idea what lever trading is. But you also have tax harvesting. If you made a lot of money this year, and if you have a lot of coins or positions in losses, people will go ahead and sell to take away from their tax liability or lower their tax liability. And a lot of these factors are key components of low volume or heading into holiday season of Bitcoin dominance increasing. All right, so just keep that in mind. So if we reclaim this, it could be a little bit of bad news. Are we going to have that Santa rally again? I still think we chop solidate, chop solidate up until January, and then mid-January through March is when I think that we have that true alt rise. But it doesn't mean that you can't be positioned in coins right now. Having exposure to the market is essential, especially in an uptrend. You go in with a small position size and you DCA dollar cost average on the way down. Even if it doesn't come back down, you at least have a little bit of exposure in the event that we go up. All right. So that's it for Bitcoin. Let's take a look at ETH really quickly. ETH is very interesting. Again, we had the break and then we flipped this into support. Consolidation on support leads to the downside, and now we are consolidating under this resistance with a bull flag. Okay. This low time frame demand zone got tapped perfectly. I was waiting for 3750-ish because it was support, this order block here. I should have placed my bids there. We had a lot of confluence there, but it's okay. But we are consolidating here under resistance. If we can get, okay, we are about to close above this 3-day resistance, right? We had a close below. Here, let's check the weekly really quickly. Okay, close above. Okay, we went a little bit higher. Close above, a little bit higher. Close above, right? And then we came back low. But this weekly will test this previous resistance and turn it into support. And if we can close above 3960-ish, we haven't gotten a close above. We got the close above, we didn't flip it. But close above, the next one, in my opinion, this full sends. Now, again, low time frame, we have this bull flag. Consolidation under resistance is usually bullish, right? We had the break of structure, went above, even flipped it. We had a retest of this. So if it wasn't the weekend, this would have been my setup. Okay. We have the confirmed retest with the hourly closing in 42 minutes. I would take a market long and, target the highs from here. Now, you take profits at levels of resistance. This isn't the only, only one TP you take. You'd have to take profits yourself. I'm not going to feed you TPs. You take profits at levels of resistance, but this would be an ideal setup to take, right? Now, we have established support and demand here, so anything in this area, actually anything from 38.30 down to 37.50, in my opinion, is a buy, as long as we don't get below this level, because if you think about it, this could also be another lower high, and I've discussed this in my last video as well, right? So we had uptrend, right? Here was your last higher high. Then if this was your, higher low here, we broke below, made a lower low, so this could actually be a lower high, right? And that would mean that we go back below, theoretically, to make another lower low, right? Come back up, and so on and so forth, and this can be a giant falling wedge. Is this likely? Anything is possible in the world of crypto, right? So, in my opinion, everyone should have their stink bids set below, just in case. It doesn't mean they're going to fill, but in the event that we get another capitulation wick, just like we did here, maybe you get some Santa, bids filled early, whether it's before Christmas, after Christmas, whenever, and just, ride that out completely. Now, I always have stink bids set on coins that I want to accumulate cheaper. I recommend everyone do the same thing if you have free capital. Now, so that is the low time frame setup that I would take on ETH. But again, anything on a lower time frame back down to this green demand zone all the way to 37.50, in my opinion, is a buy. Now, close back below that is when you will cut it because it has lost market structure and turn this back into resistance, and this is your range again, right? Now, the easiest long will be if this level is flipped here. Okay, you long, stops somewhere below resistance, and you target 5K. Right? Excuse me. I hope I didn't scare you guys. Like I said, raw recording, no editing. So that's ETH. Now, Link is one that I want to get back into. Now, we got in. I gave it to the Discord. Average of $20, $21. We got out 28. My long-term holdings are still intact. I just trimmed at $30. My long-term holdings from 5. Now, let's take a look here. So, Orange Man is buying this. Okay. He's also buying some other DeFi coins that we'll be discussing. ENA, Link. So, right now, Link has a rising wedge. Okay, and I want to show you guys this really quickly. The importance of. Okay, so if we talk about the rising wedge, right, here is one. You have the breakdown, there's the retest, small dump, and then here is another rising wedge, breakdown, right, and continue to fall down. So this is TIA. Now, Link looks pretty similar to where TIA was here, right? Price coming up. Price coming up, right? So if we, and again, targets for this, technical targets for this rising wedge, if we were to break down, which we broke down here, is around where I want to enter. Now, where I wanted to enter is the previous local high. Usually it gets retested once we break out. So we have the breakout. Local highs always get retested and offer a bounce. In that case, it did. Now we've established support. So coming back down to support, I would go ahead and buy. This is the previous range that we were in. Breakout, retest. I would love to buy there. Is it going to happen? I'm not sure. I'm just setting my limits and waiting. I let price action come to me. But if we were to fall back into the previous range, right, we have an order block and a demand zone here at the golden pocket. That is my DCA zone. I would love to bid anywhere from here down to the range lows. Come back down, right, we have our trend line. It's holding. Come back down into this region, make another higher low, and then continue the grind up to $34. Where am I getting $34 from? Let's zoom out a little bit. Okay. Resistance. Okay. We were, where's my good chart? One sec. Okay. So this is the chart that I had that was very crucial for us to close above. It was actually here. Okay. We had all this support, right? We lost it. We were rejected from it. Okay. And then the weekly closed above. Okay. We closed the weekly last week at 25, and then we had to move down, but we closed above. We're about to close above. So we've confirmed this flip. Okay. Here is another resistance that we're about to close above. This resistance is around 27.59. Now going back to this chart here, 27.59 is going to be somewhere here. Okay. Not very far off from our entry bids or where I want to buy. So I'm hoping for a wick. I discount wicks completely. I care about where candle bodies close. So I'm looking for a wick into the previous highs and the support, and hopefully if we get a deeper correction into this golden pocket here. Okay. I think this will eventually be a $50 coin again, hopefully. I don't like giving price predictions. Scratch what I just said from your brain. I think price predictions are ridiculous. People, cling on to hope of price hitting a certain point. So I don't like it. But I do think that this will eventually, at least do a 50% from here, at least like a 60-70% from here. So having exposure in an uptrend is crucial just in case you miss the pullbacks. All right, so that's what I'm looking for on Link. Now, one narrative that's been very strong has been RWAs. Okay, CPOOL, Ondo, for example, are some. Link is actually an RWA as well. AVAX is too. But this coin, I originally gave it in the Discords around 24 cents-ish. Had a huge move up. I sold for 60% move. Just got back into it. One sec. Let's get an older chart here as well. All right. Okay. So when you see coins or projects that are really good and they have a long accumulation base like this, the expansion is going to be violent. All right, this is exactly what happened. You could have bought this at a penny, 1.5 cents, and made a lot of money. All right, so when people are looking for alt seasons have like the true alt season happened a long time ago. Coins are up 5 to 6x from their lows. All right, you can't expect a 10x or 15x from this current price. It's just not going to happen. You have to lower your expectations by a lot. I know some of you guys, this is your bull cycle, but a lot of these coins, like for example, Ondo, last week or last 2 weeks is up 150%. Right? I mean, like, what do you expect? You want this to do a 400, 500x? Like, some things are just not possible. However, this coin, I do think it's possible. I do think that this is going to be a 3x from here, in my opinion. 2 to 3x. We haven't really gotten that rotation into RWAs. Ondo does have a unlock coming in January, so just be mindful of that. But perfect retest of the resistance. Okay, you will see some hard levels of resistance here between, we have a supply zone. So probably goes in here and chops a little bit, right? But I do expect this to go back to at least $2, and I am going to be adding more in my spot position. I did not get my DCAs. I will be adding more and looking for a 2 to 3x exit on CPOOL. All right. Any retrace back into this is a buy in my opinion. Now we can take a look at this on a lower time frame. Okay. So we had a little channel, right? It's just respecting this channel so far. Uptrend, clear uptrend. There's no reason to short this coin. I know some places have perps, but if we get a move back into this order block, this support, in my opinion, it is a buy. All the way down to 44. Okay, this is a buy zone. I'm gonna actually move it to here. Okay, buy zone and target $1.50 to $2 long-term hold. Don't sweat. All right, if you're not, if you're not in, I gave this actually at 47 cents. We're currently up around 17%. Again, if you want to buy, it's high risk right now. You can set limits, or you could enter in small positions and dollar cost average if it goes down. Up to you. High risk area currently, but a lot of upside, especially with the narratives. And RWA and BlackRock back in Ondo is huge. I think CPOOL will be on their radar as well, but Ondo has always been my highest conviction play. Let's quickly jump into that. Gave this to people in my Discord, back early in this year at 22 cents. And this morning, I thought this was, this hour, it's up 7%. Okay, I remember looking at this morning, it's like $1.82. Also a very strong coin. It's in price discovery. Maybe prices going up because of the unlock in January. If we do this is a clear current range. Okay. Resistance, and here is your range low. Here is your mid range. So range is a range until broken. All right. So bidding at these levels, if you want exposure, in my opinion, is the best way you're going to do it. I'm not going to give calls for Ondo because we're very high with a possible correction with the unlock coming. But if I were to buy, this would be the areas to buy, anywhere from $1.73 down to $1.63. And then $1.48 being the range lows. This would be about a 11% correction to mid-range and a 23% correction to range lows. All right, so if you are looking to buy, those would be the areas of interest. I'm already, packed my bags long term, not looking to add any more in my position, and looking for much higher. Right, when coins go into price discovery, they're going to consolidate a little bit, break this again, then yes, you have another possible. Okay, maybe a three drive here. Okay, rejection, and then something like that. Right, but we are at range highs here. I wouldn't be opening longs or buying positions here. You gotta wait for confirmation, either break above, flip it, then you could long. Otherwise, you play the mid-range levels. Okay. SUI is another coin that I want to get back into. Is the market pumping? These coins were much cheaper an hour ago. So SUI on a lower time frame had a market structure break. Like if we're taking a look at higher highs, right? Here is your higher low, higher high, and then we broke below, made a lower low. This can easily reject from here, marking it as a lower high, and then continuing it back down to the previous range highs, or the local high, which we broke out and never retested. That's where I would like to get in. Is it possible to get that entry? If we have a flush, yes. I might have to fix my bids a little bit later next week to see how price action is. But if we get that bid, it's like a 13% drop from, or actually it's a 16% drop from here. But this would be currently on a lower time frame the area to reject here from SUI. Okay, again, higher high, lower low, make it into a lower high, and then we reject. Theoretically, we make a lower low, right? And if that's going to be the case, we could have something where we make a falling wedge or a little broadening wedge. Okay. We have current support here. Again, previous local highs, came back down, perfectly tested. Come back down again. Would be a possible long entry around here. I'm not taking any of these. If I do, they will only be given in the Discord. Okay. Now, if you're taking this one, your stop loss would be soft. You would wait to see if these, now go in with a smaller entry because of a soft stop loss. You'd wait to see if these lows are swept. If so, and close back above, then you can add more to your position, and then you place a hard stop loss wherever the wick was. Otherwise, you go in light, right? If you want a hard stop loss because you're going to bed, it would most likely be under 125-ish. Below the support. Okay. Otherwise, if you can manage it, soft stop loss, small entry, add more to your position. Once these lows are swept, place your stop loss below that wick, and then you're going to target the upper trend line again. Okay. This would be a good area to possibly scalp short, hedge short, not net short. Okay. Something like that. And last but not least, ENA, another coin that Orange Man has been buying. Very important level here. Okay, local highs went above. We were consolidating under resistance. Remember, consolidation under or at resistance usually leads to expansion. Now, either we go and retest and hold and start the grind higher, or this will be a deviation of the range highs, fall back below, and mid-range level along with trendline confluence will be the area to bid. Now, are we going to get a move down to $1.03? I honestly don't know. I might have to adjust my bids for a move or my entry to start at 105. Makes sense for it to come there because it was previously resistance, breakout, no retest. So I will most likely adjust my entry bids there. Everyone's probably seen the same level, so maybe like 106-ish. And then I'll be buying at the same DCA levels in case we get a flush. Right? Now, the coin that I want to go over a little bit more in depth is going to be Sol. So I saved this for last. Now, Sol is a coin where it's going to trade much higher than where we are currently. It just needs some time. Okay. I'm not interested in this coin until it flips above this 235 level. Okay. If we can break above that level and flip it to support, then I will be looking for that higher move up. Okay, so I need this to happen, come back down, retest, create that higher low, and then continue for a push up to 300. I think Sol has an unlock in January as well. I think it's adding like 2% into circulation. So maybe that's why it's being suppressed. But one of the main reasons why this coin is being held down, and you have to look at BTC pairings, is the BTC pairing looks like absolute dog water. All right. So clear range, right? Here's your highs, here's your lows. We actually lost the lows, and the next support isn't until here. So what does that mean? If Bitcoin was to take a dip from here, Sol would actually get hit hard because Sol is not outperforming BTC or Bitcoin, right? It's actually underperforming. So, for example, you take a look at Bitcoin when it's up. Let's do from here. Let's go to a higher time frame, and let's talk about midnight till now. It's up 1.97%. Midnight till now, right? 3%. In the day, like we can take a look at here too. Watch. Okay. Let's take a look at November 24th here. All right, November 24th. Here, let's do November 16th. When we were on support, okay? 14%. November 16th. Okay. To the highs, 24%. So notice how and then November 24th. All right. Oh, sorry, November 16th. Okay. Okay. So notice how on this day, right, from November 16th to let's take to these highs, Bitcoin was up 11%, but Sol was up 24%. Okay? That is because the chart looked bullish, right? We bounced from support, we made another higher low, right? And then this put up a 14% move. So Sol was outperforming Bitcoin because the BTC pairing was bullish, right? Currently, we have lost support, right? Bitcoin is up 2%. Okay, so if we talk about things here, 11%, a 2% move on Bitcoin. Let's go from here to, what day is this? November 18th. 2% on Bitcoin, November 18th. Yielded a 13% move on Sol, right? Currently, Sol's up only 3%. So it's very evident that it's underperforming Bitcoin and will be underperforming Bitcoin unless this chart turns bullish. We either need to reclaim this support level and make a move to range highs. Otherwise, if Bitcoin takes a flash dump here, or not a flash dump, but a retrace, right, the next level of support is going to be here. Right, we have multiple support touches. That would most likely resonate with, let's go to a cleaner chart. And we take this level by level. Okay, Sol may actually break out on a lower time frame here. But 216, 215 is a very crucial level. Because if we lose it, we're looking for the $200 level here. Okay, this is the ultimate level that Sol needs to hold to go higher. Otherwise, we're talking about 160 levels. Okay, or we're talking about 182 levels. These are the next levels for Sol. See, resistance. Never had a retest. This is an SR level, and then we have support down here. Okay, so this green zone is very important for Sol to maintain. Otherwise, then we're looking at these low levels here. So Sol BTC looks pretty weak, very bearish, but really not interested in SOL until this 235 level is broken. All right, so have patience, wait for confirmation, or if you are in spot positions, just hold it. This will eventually trade much higher. We just need some patience from this. Maybe after the unlock in January it runs, but right now it's anyone's game. Bidding anywhere from 215 down to 200 in my opinion is a good entry if you don't have it. If we get it, lose that, then these levels here are where you're going to bid. All right, so I'm going to end on that. Anything that I will be giving or changing will be only given the Discord. This is all for educational and purposes. So nothing I say is financial advice. Have a good weekend, everyone.